everyone, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today's the next video in the Budget versus Brand series, and we're going to be working with alpha stickers. We're going to be using and comparing the American Craft stickers in Doll and the Trimcraft Simply Creative alpha stickers. So on to the layouts. What I'm doing here is just priming the backgrounds of both two pieces of paper using white gesso. I did have a ridiculous amount of warping, so I'm just using lots and lots of double-sided sticky tape to adhere them to a blank piece of cardstock for extra stability. Even though both pieces of paper are 12 by 12, I still managed to mess up and not get them exactly layered over the top of each other, so I'm just going to use my trimmer and neaten up any edges and make sure that they're straight and still on the 12 by 12. I'm just going to repeat the process with both pieces of paper. So now that both pieces of cardstock are ready, I'm going to take my peacock feathers, distress ink and a little bit of water, mix it up and basically just splatter it on the background using the packaging technique and start putting loads of colour down. It was really exciting to be able to use the distress inks the way they're meant to be used, and just really fun to mess around with colour and ink and make a mess. I'm just going to dry that using my little heat tool, and once they're dry, I'm going to take the mustard seed distress ink and repeat the process. I did want the mustard seed to overlap the blue a little bit and to go a little bit green and murky. I really wanted just to blend loads of colour and see what happens. Again, I'm just going to dry that using my heat tool. I find it really helps to thoroughly dry them between layers, and it helps those colours stand out a little bit more and be more vivid. So now I'm going to take my Hide Swap Colour Shine in Patina, mix in a little bit of water and splodge that over the top. I kind of was thinking of a globe and sort of the yellowy greeny blues, but I kind of decided to just go with it and see what happens. I really love the addition of the green. It's quite subtle on camera, but it gives such a sheen and shimmer in person. It's just beautiful. I'm now just taking the navy Hide Swap Colour Shine and I'm splattering that over the top just to add some splatters and some depth to it. Okay, so I'm taking that Patina Hide Swap Colour Shine into the second layout as well, and then I'm going to use some paper towel to just mop it up and so it leaves a sheer covering. I'm then going to go in with the Butter Hide Swap Colour Shine and add some fine splatters. Then taking the Raspberry Hide Swap Colour Shine, I'm going to take a medium-sized paintbrush and first the edge and then all around the layout just do some rough brush strokes, making some little mini stripes all around the layout. I'm going to go over these just a couple of times as I find it did resist a little bit. The underneath layers were poking through, but after a couple of times and drying, they turned out just fine. I'm now going to go back to the first layout and use a distress spray to put some metallic silver splatters all over the layout and then leave that one to dry. I did leave some big blobs and some inky splatters as I just love the extra texture that they give. I'm now flipping through the Wildflowers paper pad. I think this paper pad is absolutely beautiful. There was so much inspiration for these layouts from the beautiful watercolour and textured backgrounds in that paper pad. I chose to go with two different ones here. They're the same pattern, but one is a pinky purple and one a greeny blue. I'm then going to trim down my photos and begin to mat them first onto some vellum and then onto those papers. So the photos that I'm using on this layout, there's two photos on the first one. One is of myself and my husband, and the other one is me and my mummy. These were both taken at my birthday lunch. We went out to a huge hobby craft and spent the day shopping, and then we went for a big family lunch. So once I've matted these photos onto the backing paper, I'm going to trim them down, and then I'm going to distress the edges using my very big, very sharp scissors just to ruffle them up a bit and add a bit more texture. I'm just trying a few positions of where I want the photos to sit now, as well as trying to work out my title and where I was going to put that as well. I decided that as well as using these stickers, which are the doll stickers, my all-time absolute favourite, I was going to use my Dear Lizzie chipboard sticker set and my Shimel word sticker set. So I use one that says laugh from the Dear Lizzie Lovely Day collection chipboard word pack, and I use one of the ones from the new Shimel Little by Little word sticker set that says love. I'm then going to use the doll stickers in both the capitals and the lowercase to spell out my title. In actual time, this title does move around the page quite a few times. Hopefully I've spared you some of that, as it's a case of going up and down and backwards and forwards. So we shall see. I'm just taking a break from the title and actually sticking my photos down. I'm going to go for them being offset from each other, one in the top left corner and one further over to the right hand side. And I'm sticking that down using my trusty double-sided sticky tape. So going back to my title, I am further along now. My title does read, "Be happy, always live, laugh and love." And I'm moving those stickers back down from being up by the photo, and I believe that's where they say, although the live that's currently at the end does go underneath to be next to the laugh. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm making my own E out of an I and a C, as I'd run out of lowercase e's, and then it took me a little while so that you couldn't see the I sticking out on the other side, and then I'm going to move that live next to the laugh. So now I'm starting to embellish the page. I'm taking the chipboard hearts, also from the same Dear Lizzie chipboard sheet, and my amazing favourite Studio Calico vellum hearts, and I'm going to put them in 3 different places on the layout just to add a little pop of colour and to use a little bit of continuity throughout. I'm now taking some Studio Calico word stickers and I'm just going to layer them in that cluster at the bottom of the photo. They say weekend, trip and quality time because it's my birthday, so it most definitely was quality time. And I'm just stapling the edges of that photo as my stapler wouldn't reach down to those tiny word stickers. So now I'm wondering where I can put some journaling, as I did want to document the date and a little bit about where we went. So I'm going to rifle through my scrap paper box and use the reverse of a crepe paper piece of paper to just hand write some journaling, and then I'm going to use my StazOn ink and my roller date stamp, trim it down and staple that to the layout. I'm going to add a trusty bit of double-sided sticky tape and place it on the layout just so that it would help it stick where I've used the mixed media on the background, and then I'm going to add some metallic silver splatters just around my title. So now I'm going on to the next layout and back to the photos on this. These were tiny 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch photos. I printed in a collage, and I'm just going to trim them down, take off all of the excess and then mat them onto some papers. I did intend on only using this one piece of paper in the beginning, but I really wanted to showcase a little bit more of that paper pad, and I wanted both of the layouts to flow well together, so I decided to use some of the offcuts from the earlier papers and make them blend in. I decided to add some dimension behind the photos. I decided to use some tiny squares of foam behind them. When I put the photos on top of the layout, they seemed to just disappear, so I definitely wanted them to stand out and be raised up. So here I'm just taking the photos down to the different papers. I'm then going to trim them down and then add them to the foam. I'm just sticking these down using the trusty double-sided sticky tape. I find it tends to work best with most of my surfaces, and it does tend to stay put, which always is a plus sign. I'm not sure if it is just me here. I did struggle quite a lot with getting a straight edge and with my viscose trimmer not tearing my papers. Sometimes I'll be using the most beautiful paper that I don't have another one of, and it will just chew it. It seems to be that my blade seems to be running out almost on a weekly basis now. Every other week it's deciding to chew up my papers. So I'm not sure if it's a case of I'm doing something wrong or if it is a problem with my trimmer. So it was here while I was chopping up the foam to back the photos onto that I was trying to work out where to put my title, and also which of the packets of alpha stickers to use. I wasn't so keen on using the silver ones, as I'd used the silver ones on the last layout, but I wanted to use what went best. I'm now just putting some low tack washi tape underneath the photos and above it to help me line and work out where to put my title. So I decided to go with the black ones, and as you can see here I'm spelling out family, and I'm trying to work outwards from the middle. So a major plus point for the Simply Creative alphabet stickers is they come with an amazing array of punctuation. Normally in the stickers it's just the dots, and you might get commas and a few exclamation marks, but the complete bottom section of this was just punctuation, and I think that's great, especially for a more affordable alphabet stickers. These are roughly half the price of the stickers, and they're not the same as in these ones. The glitter come off, whereas with the stickers they don't, but they're a great alternative, and I think it'll be great to have both in your stash if possible. I will say one negative point when using a lot of these alphas is, although they're foam, they are very, very bendy, and they don't tend to keep their shape when you pick them off of the sheet to put them onto your layout. Sometimes the letters would bend themselves and curve themselves round, but for the most part I did enjoy using them. So I'm now committing to the placement of those photos, and once they're down it's going to be time to start embellishing. So now I'm taking more of the distress spray in the metallic silver and adding a few more splatters from that, and then I'm taking this bright yellow embroidery floss and I'm going to separate that and make it into a nest and knot, and then I'm going to go back through my chipboard stickers, and I believe I select another one from the Dear Lizzie collection that says love, and I'm going to put the nest of embroidery floss behind that and then stamp the date multiple times next to it. So I'm just using some tacky glue for this. I find especially with chipboard embellishments they often need some extra glue, and wet adhesive such as your tacky glues and your gem tack and things work wonders for that. I do try to colour in the love with a black marker, but unfortunately it does just smear off, so I have to leave it as the blue it is. And I'm then going to take a wonky holographic heart from Studio Calico and layer that over the V. It worked quite perfectly and added in an extra pop of the silver. So then it shows you that at the top I'm actually using a black puffy sticker, but my camera does cut off here, and I decided instead to go for a blue Studio Calico word phrase strip that says today was a good day, and another one of those wonky holographic hearts. I'm then going to go into my enamel dot box and select a few different green and turquoise and blue enamel dots in different shapes. I've got some that are very circular and some that are quite flat, just to add a little bit more detail around those embellishment clusters. And that will be both layouts done. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Budget vs Brand series. It was definitely a lot of fun to play around with the different alpha stickers and see the differences in them, especially for the different brands and the different prices. So thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have any comments, questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't and you are interested in seeing more videos from me, and I will be back with a new video very shortly. Thank you so much again. I'll see you in the next one.